Everyone, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. Today I'm reviewing the Zpacks Duplex. I will be blunt about this. This is one of the best tents I've ever used. It truly is an amazing product. Yes, it is very expensive, but there are factors that go in with this tent that make the price more reasonable, and I will talk about those in just a moment. This is a product that I've been testing out since 2019. And here we are at the end of 2021. I have a lot of experience with this shelter. And in this episode, I'm going over my pros and cons so I can help you all. I can provide the information. Is this product worth your money? The channel, the Outdoor Gear Review, is agenda free. And this episode is all about information, and that's it. I'm not trying to sell you products. I don't care if you buy this or not. I'm only here to help. So folks, let's go ahead and begin. Let's review the Zpacks Duplex. To begin this review, everyone, let's go over some stats real quick. I've already mentioned that this is an ultralight tent, and it is. This is a two-person tent that weighs only 19.4 ounces. As you all can see, this is a very good sized tent, and it is a true two-person tent. Two individuals, all of their gear, they can sit up, they can change clothes, and they can have gear around the tent. There's two main materials with this tent: Dyneema Composite Fabric and Polyester insect netting. Those are the two main materials with this tent. There are some plastic bits of hardware here and there, which you see flashing on the screen now. This tent features two doors, two vestibules. It has an 8-inch bathtub floor. It is 90 inches long, 45 inches wide, and it has a peak height of 48 inches. And this goes back to it being a large size tent, a large two-person tent, because it is. When it's stored, you're looking at 13 inches by 8 inches by 6 inches. And it is available in numerous colors. This is white, there's also spruce green, there's a brown color, olive drab, and blue. The company that makes this tent, Zpacks, also has numerous sizes of tents available. They have a one-person, this is the two-person, there's also a two-person XL version, and there's also a three-person version. When it comes to the style of this tent, this is a single wall tarp tent that features an integrated floor and body. And it can be set up in one of two ways. You can use trekking poles like I've done here, or you can use the carbon fiber pole set from Zpacks, also known as the Flex Kit. I own the freestanding kit, and I will talk about my experiences with it in just a moment. The price of that is $125, and it adds 10 ounces to the overall weight of this setup. With the Zpacks Duplex tent, this is one of the most popular through hiking tents out on the market today. At the same time, it's also one of the most popular ultralight tents out on the market today, for good reason. Yes, this is a pricey tent shelter, but it's incredibly lightweight, super spacious. It features top-of-the-line materials, and its overall performance is exceptional. Now everyone, let's take a look at the tent itself and go over the features. So you can see here the overall shape of the tent. You have the peak, which is supported by trekking poles. You have one here, you have another one on this side. It's staked out over here and also over here. The body is staked out in the corners. This is not a freestanding tent unless you have the freestanding kit add-on, which I will show you on the screen now with one of my trips. Taking a look at one of the doors here, this is a very unique design. Basically what you have is overlapping panels. This side overlaps this side. You have a toggle which connects the two, then it goes down, and then you have this bit of hardware right here. And this holds the two doors together so they can't fly loose. And from there, it is staked out. Without a doubt, I've never seen anything quite like that before. It's very smart. Walking around to the other side, you have the same features. It's staked out in the corners. You do have a guy line right here. Now you can see this spot and this toggle. That is for the freestanding kit. Up at the top, this is for the freestanding kit as well. On each side of the tent, you have the ability to roll back the doors and to tie them up. I will go ahead and open up the doors here. So undo the toggle, release from the hardware, then you can roll it up. It's a very simple system that also works exceptionally well. From here, folks, you can see one of my trekking poles. It goes all the way up into a sleeve at the top. It's reinforced, so you don't have to worry about too much pressure being put on the fabric itself. From here, you have a rainbow-shaped zipper. These are YKK zippers, and you have two of them. Taking a look at the inside of the tent here, you can see just how much space that you have. You can also see just how aggressive the bathtub floor is. 8 inches high. You can see the other rainbow-shaped door. You have all of that mesh. You have a pocket on this side, and there's one on the other side as well. Going to the sides here, you have additional mesh, where the top material extends past the floor so you can get good airflow inside of here. You have this adjuster, so you can pull the floor up higher if you need to, which is very helpful. Let's say that it's raining heavily outside. You can pull the floor up so there's no splashing into the tent. You have the same features on the other side, and you can see all of that mesh. As you all can tell by how quickly we're going over this product, this is a very simple tent. And we're pretty much at the point now where I should talk about my experiences with this shelter. As mentioned before, I've been testing this out since 2019, and this tent has truly impressed me. And it should for the amount of money that this tent cost. Speaking of which, the retail price of this tent is $650. Now, when I purchased it, back in 2019, the price was $600. Inflation is real, my friends, and we all know who to thank for that. Anyways, everyone, I've used this tent across the country in a wide range of areas. And I can tell you this much, folks, it has performed exceptionally well. Dry weather, wet weather, sandy weather, mountains, wind, this tent handles just about everything with ease, with the exception of the cold and snow. This is a 3-season tent, and this is not something that I would recommend for the 4th season. This tent features a ton of airflow. You have it from the doors, from the front, and the back. You have a lot of mesh. So every bit of the wind, the breeze, it makes its way inside of this tent. That's awesome for summertime use, for warmer weather. It's not great for wintertime use. It is with all of my experience with this tent, I'm ready to pass on my pros and cons. So let's start with the pros first. This tent is without a doubt extremely lightweight. It's impressively lightweight, especially for it being a 2-person tent. Another impressive aspect when it comes to weight is when you compare this to other ultralight tents out there, comparable products. Most of those do not feature a floor. They do not feature bug protection. This one does. You have that capability, and it's built in, it's ready to go. I've already touched upon this, but the overall size of this tent is excellent. This is a true 2-person tent. This is not one of those tents where the company claims it's 2-person, but it's actually a 1-person. This is a true 2-person tent. The overall pack size of this tent is not bad. Again, 13 by 8 by 6. It's not bad at all. Thanks to the materials, this is a very durable tent. Dyneema Composite Fabric is extremely strong and tear resistant. And with my testing over the years, I've had no issues. Now, of course, folks, this is a $650 tent. You're going to baby it. With my gear, I take care of it and it lasts forever. And this is a prime example. I've taken it across the country and it has no issues, no holes. When you invest in something, you take care of it. And if you buy this tent, you take care of it, it will serve you for a very long time. Talking about the durability of these tents for a second, these are very popular tents with thru hikers. And there are numerous thru hikers who have done multiple thru hikes with the duplex and have had no issues. Thousands and thousands of miles with no issues at all. That is impressive. One of the biggest benefits to the Dyneema material is that it's waterproof. This tent is 100% waterproof. I've never had any sort of leaking. I've had no issues. It does not absorb any water, so you don't have to worry about added weight after a night of rain. Thanks to the materials, seam sealing is not required, so you don't have to worry about that aspect degrading over time and having to be reapplied or addressed. Another huge pro for this tent is that it can be set up in numerous ways. You can use trekking poles or you could get the freestanding kit. Both work very well, both have a time and place. Having the ability to use the freestanding kit on, say, like a rocky surface and being able to set it up is a huge plus. Talking about the setup process here for a second, setting up with the trekking poles is very, very easy. A con is the freestanding kit, and I will talk about that in just a moment. Going back to the materials for a second, again, everyone, this is top of the line stuff here. The best of the best. Dyneema is super lightweight, super strong, highly waterproof. It doesn't absorb water, it doesn't stretch. It is pretty amazing stuff. Another aspect that I really like about this tent is the floor itself, the way that you can adjust it. You can pull it up. You can raise the floor to prevent splashing. That is a very unique feature that you do not see in many tents. Talking about ventilation and condensation here for a second, because this tent has so much mesh, because it allows so much airflow to come into the tent, the ventilation is off the hook. Condensation is possible in any tent, but it's not much of an issue in this one. You can get some condensation to form on the walls. It is a single wall tent after all. But when you compare this to your average single wall tent, it's a night and day difference. This is so much better. Another pro for this tent are the doors. They are very good size. It's easy to get in and out of this tent. Next up, everyone, talking about stability and wind. This is a very stable tent. You can set this up, especially with the trekking poles, and it can handle winds with no problems. Stability with the freestanding pole kit is good, but not quite as good as with the trekking poles. The freestanding kit involves 4 carbon fiber poles. You basically set these up, you crisscross, and basically the tent stands up on its own. Only the doors have to be staked out. This here, my friends, is one of these carbon fiber poles. Exceptionally lightweight. And at the same time, there's a little bit of wobble to it. So in strong winds, you will definitely feel the tent wobbling, shaking more than you would with trekking poles. If you're using the freestanding kit and you're out for a trip, it gets real windy, you can always get sticks, cut them for the peak here, and put them into place. That will help a lot. And that is something that I've personally done with my tent here. The last pro that I have here before moving on to the cons is that you can set up this tent in the rain and you don't have to worry about the inside getting wet. That is a huge plus for this tent. Having the ability to set up the tent while the inside stays dry is huge. And that takes us over to the cons, folks. So con number 1, this tent costs $650 and it includes no tent stakes, which is, in my opinion, a slap in the face. For $650, the company should include the tent stakes that you need to set up this tent. We're talking about a shelter setup that is uber expensive and no tent stakes are included. And that to me just does not make any sense. I don't like it one bit. Next up, talking about the freestanding kit. To get proficient with this, there is a substantial learning curve. It will take you time to figure out what works, what doesn't, and it will take time to figure out how to really set this up in windy conditions. But once you do, you have a very stable tent shelter. I've been at high elevations in Colorado with very strong winds with just this kit, and the tent has held up very well. It has been so windy on some of my trips that I thought for certain the tent would collapse, but it never has. The next con that I have is in relation to the Dyneema material. It is somewhat transparent, so when you're inside of this, say at nighttime, there's a full moon up, there is so much light that's going to come through that material. It can be hard to sleep. You may appreciate having that much light inside of your tent before you go to sleep. Maybe you're moving things around, you're looking for something, that's great. But when you're trying to go to sleep, and that moon is up there, it could just be like blaring right into your face. And that is just one of the aspects to the Dyneema material. That takes us over to the next con that I have for this tent, and that is price. $650. There's no doubt about it, this is a very expensive tent shelter. This is a product that's going to require a very good size investment. In my opinion, it is very much worth it. When you compare this to similar ultralight products, they tend to be more expensive than this here. Over the years, the design of this tent has become extremely popular, and there are many companies who have copied it. There are many companies out there who have less expensive versions of this tent. I personally cannot comment on those because I've had no hands-on experience, but I can tell you this much, folks. Because of the materials used here, the longevity of this tent is going to be much more so than the other options. And that pretty much takes us over to the summary here. And I want to talk about the longevity aspect for a second. This tent features Dyneema material. It has no coatings, there's no DWR treatment to this, there's no laminates, there's no silicone, no PU. Nothing has been done to this tent for it to be waterproof. And that means that you do not have to worry about the degrading aspect. That is going to happen with all tents, including this one. But with this tent, because it lacks all of those laminates and coatings and whatnot, it is going to last much, much longer than other options. So you could say, yes, $650 is very expensive for a tent, but this is a tent that's going to last you a very, very long time. You don't have to worry about seam tape aging and coming off. You don't have to worry about the coatings aging and having to be reapplied. There's very little here with this tent that's going to age, and that's not the case with copycat versions of this tent. I know that I've said a lot in regards to this tent, so let me wrap this up. In the end, this is a very impressive tent. It's one of the best. And that right there wraps up my review. Make sure to comment down below and share your thoughts. What do you all think about the duplex? Would you personally buy this tent? Do you need a tent like this? I mean, it is insanely lightweight. The weather protection is excellent. Ventilation is excellent. Again, the only time that this tent does not shine is in the wintertime. The overall design of this tent is not very good for snow loading, and because there's so much mesh, I mean, you will feel every bit of the wind coming into that tent. For 3-season use, in my opinion, this is the ultimate tent. It really is that good. Folks, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Make sure to hit the thumbs up because it helps the channel. Be well, strength and honor. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.